been highlighted and the subject word underlined in each case. Okay, so the word that is underlined, now there are 3 examples they have given, 3 sentences. The words they have written in blue color, those are your subject totally, but the one that is underlined is a subject word, okay, which is the most important one. Like the first one, the weather was hot, okay. Now the weather is a subject, but in this two, the and weather is your important one, most important one. That's why, or you can call it as the subject word. So weather is your subject word. That's why it's underlined. The hot weather caused the death of many birds. Again, the hot weather is your subject, but the subject word is weather. The weather being sultry spoiled our picnic plans. Again, the weather being sultry is your subject, weather is your subject word. It's not that weather is always your subject word, depends upon the sentence and the priority of the sentence, which is important, that is your subject word. Okay. In the second and third sentence above, the subject word have been qualified by an adjective. Okay, and what is adjective? That qualifies the subject word in a sentence. Okay, so by an adjective, hot, and a group of words that acts as an adjective being sultry respectively, the is also considered to be an attribute. Okay, it's equally important. That's why we have to consider the as a subject along with the action. Okay, there is page number 3 practice, which you can try this yourself. Okay, exercise A. Then learn. Like the subject, the predicate of sentence is usually made up of more than one word. Okay, just like the subject, predicate is not just one word. Again, sometimes they have more than one word. Okay. Sometimes the verb in a sentence may be qualified by an adverb or a group of words that work as an adverb. Look at these sentences where the verb has been underlined and the qualifying word or group of words has been highlighted. Ravi runs fast. We ran all the way. Now an adverb or adverb phrase that qualifies the verb is called the adverbial qualification. Adverb or adverb phrase that qualifies, okay, is called the adverbial qualification. Now you have learned that a verb in a sentence may be used transitively or intransitively. In a sentence there has to be subject, predicate and also a verb, an action. Yes or no? Verb is an action. Now verb has again 2 parts, whether the verb is transitive or intransitive. Now you will see this more in detail, but just for an introduction, verb has 2 parts, transitive and intransitive. Now what is transitive and intransitive is, transitive verb is something that has one or more object, okay, object or action. Whereas intransitive verb, there is absence of object, okay. Transitive has one or more object and intransitive there is no object at all. Okay, clear? So keep in mind, in a sentence you have subject, predicate, subject, one who does action or action has been done to it. Predicate, rest, which follows the subject is your predicate. Then in a sentence you have subject, predicate and a verb also. Verb is an action. Now verb are of 2 types, transitive and intransitive. Transitive which has one or more objects, and intransitive which does not have any object. Okay, keep that clear. Now one or more object also, there are if there is one, it's only object, but if it is one or more, there is direct and indirect object. Okay, again that we'll see that more in detail. I will not mix you up much. So when a verb requires an object to receive its action, when an object needs an action to be received, we say that the verb is used transitively. When we need an object, we use it transitively. Okay. A verb whose meaning is complete without an object is said to be used intransitively. A verb whose meaning is complete without any object, like we don't need object, so that kind of sentence is called intransitive. Okay. Example, the little dog is chasing a rat. Okay. Now is chasing is your object here, that's why it's a transitive verb, transitive sentence. Transitive verb, and the rat is running away as fast as possible. It is an intransitive. Okay. The person or thing that receives the action is called, action of the verb is called the object of the verb. There are some examples given here, and then in the above sentences, the verb has only one object, the direct object, which we identify by asking the question who, what after the verb. That is there, and then okay, they have also given here what is subject complement, subjective complement, a word or group of words that is required to complete the sense of a verb and that tells us something about the subject of the verb is called the subjective complement. Okay. Then a word or a group of words that is required to complete the sense of the predicate and that tells us more about the object of the verb is called the objective complement. So that is what subjective and objective complement is. Now page number 6, it's the rewind chapter, okay, of a sentence. Now today we saw the sentence. There are kinds of sentences also, okay. Namely, there are 4 kinds of sentences, okay. Number 1, assertive sentence, which is also known as declarative sentence. Number 2, imperative sentence. Imperative sentence, I have told you here itself only that imperative sentence is a sentence where you have where you make a sentence that makes a request, okay, gives you an advice or commands is an imperative sentence. Then you have interrogative sentence where you ask question, okay, and ends with a question mark. And the last one is your exclamatory sentence, which again ends with an exclamation. Exclamatory sentence are those sentences which is sudden and which is strong and gives you a certain feeling is your exclamatory sentence, okay, and ends with an exclamation mark, okay. So there are examples here about that. They have defined here an assertive sentence makes a statement, okay. Assertive sentence is also known as declarative sentence, and it makes it makes a statement, okay. It's a simple sentence, it makes a statement and it's known as declarative sentence. It ends with a full stop, okay. They have given assertive sentence again are 2 kinds, positive and negative, sorry, not positive, we say affirmative and negative, okay, sentence. Look at these sentences. Now affirmative, you can call it as positive sentence. Why? Because there is absence of no, not, never. Whereas negative, there is no, not, never. There is presence of no, not, never. Okay. So just see the example. The knife is blunt. This is simple and it's a positive sentence. So that's why it is called affirmative sentence. The knife is not sharp. The presence of not makes it a negative sentence. Okay. So the 2 sentences convey the same meaning, but one does so negatively while the other states is positively. Okay, that's why it's known as affirmative and negative sentence. Now a sentence that tells us something exists or something is happening is called the affirmative, and affirmative sentence is also known as positive sentence. A sentence that states that something does not exist or that something is not happening is called a negative sentence. Okay. Then they have said the interrogative sentence asks questions. They have given examples based on that. When we ask this question, we expect the answer to be yes or no as an answer. Okay, so they are called yes or no questions also. Then we use helping verb. Now what are helping verbs? We use this kind of helping verbs. Be, have, done, can, should, may, will to ask yes or no questions. In such question, the helping verb comes before the subject and main verb comes after the subject. Okay. Examples again given there. Questions that begin with why, what, when, which, who, were, whom and how are called WH questions. Okay. Now there are questions of order. There are sentences that gives order, request, advice. Okay. And a sentence also again what I have already mentioned to you is a sentence that gives you a command or order, makes a request or gives advice is called an imperative sentence, and examples given for imperative sentence as well. So that is all about the chapter, the first chapter, the sentence. Okay, and based on that we have some exercises to do which I'll give you in the next class. Okay, till then take care. Thank you.